Where do we even begin?
I'm plugging the stream real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody, to the Phoenix Suns at Los Angeles Lakers post-game live show, otherwise known as Suns Geek complains about the terrible officiating. And you know me, Reliable. I like to have a good drink every once in a while. Tonight, I feel like we kind of earned one, okay?
Oh,
This is
just a truly though, just
yeah,
like a
just
little.
a truly.
Yeah.
The Suns Geek, the Suns Geek subscribers and fans, they know I like to go with a good truly. So
On a win, you go for like a Budweiser. On a loss, you go
exactly.
for like a White Claw.
So before I properly introduce you, I'm gonna crack this open. Suns fans, even if you're just drinking water, go ahead, crack it open, whatever. Just let me know what you're drinking in the chat. So before I take a sip of this, man, I am live with one of my good friends, the biggest Lakers fan that I know. So we have a little bit of insight here. And former and maybe still content creator, Reliable Rants. How you doing, man? Long time no see. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, my smart water. Yeah, doing well, man. A little bit more excited today. I was pretty tired. Lakers won. Got a little more energetic.
I was kind of tired too, man.
Yeah.
What's going on with the content creation game, man? You've kind of whispered to me that you're possibly coming back. So what's going on with that?
I am coming back. School's gone crazy. I started some other endeavors in terms of like film, TV type stuff.
I know what you're talking about.
And then no, but I still always have a love for YouTube and just talking basketball. So I'm definitely coming back. School's about to end, so yeah, I'm about to go crazy.
Let's go, man. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. Once again, you guys, Reliable Rants used to make YouTube videos not too long ago, and he's been on this channel multiple times, way before the Suns got Kevin Durant, and I do appreciate you being here, man. So this is actually a spontaneous thing we're about to do, Reliable. We're actually going to react. I don't know if you saw the private chat, but we're actually going to react to something that Monty Williams said. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't actually drop the microphone and walk out, because that's what the tweet said. But this comes from Dwayne Rankin from the Arizona Central, covers the Phoenix Suns and all that. Here's what Monty Williams had to say, and we have to react to this before we really start diving into the recap of this game. So let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
With Joe last week, I can sit here and rant and rave about what I feel like is not a fair whistle. It's just not. With the 46 free throws, we're doing the same. We're attacking the rim. I'm getting explanations about we're taking too many jump shots, mid-range jump shots. We're playing a physical game. They had 27 free throws in the first half. They end up with 46. When do you see a game with 46 free throws for one team? Like that's just not right. I don't care how you slice it. It's happening to us too much. Other teams are reaching, other teams are hitting, and we're not getting the same call. And I'm tired of it. It's old. 46 to 20 free throws, right, with Devin Booker on our team. He gets 12. Josh gets, our bench had no free throws. That's just, I'm over it. Been talking about the same thing for a while. Doesn't matter what team it is. Last game, Shea gets I think he had 19 free throws. 19, right. And it's old. And so I'm tired of talking about free throws. Our guys have to do their job. We understand that. But that's a huge disparity. 46 free throws. And I'll say it again, 46 to 20. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Oh, he did walk up and get out. Okay, thank you. Okay, I thought that was clickbait at first. Sorry. But yeah, that was a little improvised segment. Reliable Rants, because the tweet originally said 46 to 20. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Monty Williams dropped the mic and walked out. I didn't think he did that at first, but he actually did.
Yeah.
So holy cow, I'm so glad Monty Williams did that. Thank you, Monty Williams, for calling out the referees. And look, Reliable, I don't know how many actual interviews you've listened to Monty Williams. He's usually a lot more calm than he is. I could tell by the tone of his voice that he was pissed off. So opening thoughts and reaction, man. You can react to that. You can react to the game, the officiating. Yeah. What are you thinking, man?
I'll react to that interview because we're on topic. I want to preface it with saying I haven't watched full Suns games before, so I can't have a full opinion on the past ways the refs have treated you guys. but I could talk about tonight and what he said about tonight. And what I would say is let's go through every single call that was on the Lakers and determine how many weren't fouls. Because as a viewer watching this game, I didn't see many calls that were bogus on our end. So I think maybe it's more about missed calls on your end.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because Austin Reeves is shot 18 free throws tonight.
Yes.
And you could
no, I'm sorry, he shot 12 for 13 free throws.
Oh, sorry, last night.
Last night. Yeah, it's getting out of hand at this point, but yeah.
But it's fair because he's so good at drawing fouls, and he draws fouls correctly, and he earns the calls, in my opinion. So we could look at every call the Lakers got, but I think I'm not saying that you weren't treated unfairly, because I do think there were some missed calls, but we were more paint oriented tonight. I mean, you're missing your center, you're missing DeAndre, and you're missing your paint presence. A lot of your game operated throughout the mid-range area. So I get what Monty's saying, but the stats are alluding to the fact that we are in the paint more, drawing more contact today because we had more of a paint presence than Jock Landell. So I agree and disagree. I think
this is a agree to disagree situation.
And I would, if someone told me, hey, the NBA wants the Lakers to make the playoffs, I would agree with them. I think they do. Not saying that they're skewing the game, but it's in the realm of possibility. But those are just my rough thoughts on that.
Before I go on my referees rant, reliable rants, referees rants. I'll just say this, and we're going to talk about it later. I do kind of feel that the Suns did blow this game a little bit, but did the free throws have a big impact on this game? Absolutely. And you referenced something. You said, like, you haven't unfortunately been able to watch a bunch of Suns games, so you don't really know how we get the whistle. I can say the same thing about the Warriors. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how Steph Curry and all them are getting whistles, but maybe I'm biased here. Maybe I'm a typical Suns fan. Maybe I'm crying and all that. Let me tell you, we do not get a whistle. Devin Booker does not get a whistle at all. And I mean, you were talking about looking over certain plays. There was even a play where D'Angelo Russell, one of Booker's best friends, clearly fouled him on the wrist, and nothing was called. It was just little things like that. Now with Austin Reeves, who we could spend a whole hour talking about this, social media needs to chill.
No, they don't.
National network needs the ESPN and national media. They need to chill on this man, Austin Reeves.
If I ever touched Austin Reeves, I wouldn't wash my hair.
He is the next superstar of this league. You've played 2K before, right? It's like when my career player gets created, and then like 5 games later, he's like the best player in the league.
He's my favorite current player in the league right now. And that's not a joke. I did a statistics project for high school on Austin Reeves, and that's not a lie. I swear. Like, I love this man. My
point being, though, is that, and look, I'll give Austin Reeves credit later and all that, is that the national media is hyping him up, the social media is hyping him up, and the referees clearly were giving him anything he wanted to. Even if the Lakers were being super aggressive and getting to the paint more and driving to the basket, which I'm going to talk about that later, because the Suns are terrible at guarding the basket, especially when players drive in there.
Especially when you have Jock Landell. Sorry, I'm going
to
keep name dropping that every time.
But see, I'm so torn, man, because, and I even said this to you too. I said I felt like the officiating got a little bit better in the second half, but the damage was already done. But let me tell you, Reliable, I'm serious, man. Just go back and look at some of the Suns games just as of late. The officiating on the Suns is terrible. The refs clearly have it out for the Suns, man. And tonight was just evidence of that. And yeah, we can blame Scott Foster, but it's all the referees, man. And it's just terrible. And like, again, with all due respect to your boy Austin Reeves, man, 12 for 13 tonight. The Lakers got to the free throw line in the first half 27 times. The Suns as a team got to the free throw line 20 times. I don't get it, man.
I agree. I think I believe it's unfair to say that the refs have it out for the Suns, because I think many teams would say the exact same thing about their team.
That's why I
think-
referenced the Warriors.
I
and all them
think
too, so.
overall there's a very major officiating problem throughout the entire league, and I think
Say that again. Say that again.
I don't need to say it again. I think that what was I about to say?
That there's a terrible officiating problem around the league.
Yes.
Sorry, I
and
threw you off.
where was my? I was about to. Oh yeah. And like every team would say the same thing about them. And I've seen the Laker games this year where calls don't go our way, and then the next game calls do go our way. I think it's just an overall inconsistency problem within the NBA, honestly. But I'm not taking away from the fact that you guys probably have been in the past. Like I agree. Like I'm believing you, obviously, but. I mean, yeah, while it could be a little lopsided tonight, we were attacking the basket a lot more than you guys were. And
yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
And maybe there were some like BS calls on our end, but most of the calls I saw, they were fouls. I mean, on our end, I mean, you could list out a number, but I think we should look at the calls and then determine it from there instead of just making blanket statements based on statistics overall. Like, let's look at the evidence. Let's look at the calls and then determine if they're unfair or not, you know?
Real quick, I just want to share a tweet with you because the great Dave King from Bright Side of the Sun retweeted this. And again, this goes to the referee talk and the officiating. And they even point out the Suns defense tonight, which we will talk about later. But this is for the Quinn. 46 free throw attempts is the fourth most taken by any team. Let me zoom in if you can't see. I don't know if you can see that too well.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm zooming in. But 46 free throw attempts is the fourth most taken by any team this season, by the way. Could the Suns have played more disciplined and controlled defense overall? Yes. And we're going to talk about that later. Sure. But you're going to have a hard time convincing me a 46 to 20 free throw attempt was fairly, or yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could agree.
It's a great tweet. I got to retweet that. I'm sorry. I just have to. But I don't know. I just wanted to bring that tweet up. And again, I don't want this whole live show to be about me just bitching about the referees, even though we could do that for an hour. And I don't want to sit here and just complain about Austin Reeves because I do have some positive thoughts on Austin Reeves. I really do. But
well, as a fan of the opposing team, you hate him. As a basketball fan, you love him. You know, I feel like that's like for everybody.
And I've always tried to keep it, you know me, man. You've done live shows with me plenty of times. You know, I try to keep it honest and I try to keep it positive because you know, social media, and that's probably a good reason you're not on Twitter because Twitter's so damn negative all the time. I try to keep it positive every once in a while. So I ranted about the Suns. I think Monty Williams' mic drop pretty much said it all. You have your thoughts, and your thoughts are fair and valid. And I think you summed it up perfectly when you said that the NBA as a league has an officiating problem.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you fully. Yeah. Like I've been exactly where you are, looking at calls, looking at stats, and being like, why on earth is this happening? Yeah. So it's like I'm stepping in, I'm completely like understanding where you're coming from. And I agree with a lot of your saying. I think the only thing that's just a little bit like I think maybe it's just like you're mad about the loss and it's just like raw thoughts to say like, oh, the NBA has it out for the Suns. Because I think I've said that about the Lakers. Every NBA fan has said that about their team at some point. Right. I feel like in terms of refs because of like the overarching inconsistencies of referees in the league.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's all I'll say to finish that.
Well, with that being said, let me know if you need me to like share the stats on the screen or anything, but we can actually move on because I feel like we haven't really talked about this game too much because there's some things I actually do want to go over. So the Suns, and to be honest with you, man, I kind of felt like the Suns lost this game like in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Just sometimes there's momentum takes over. Like you play basketball, momentum takes over. And even though no lead is safe in the NBA, it's like the game's over. I just kind of knew. I feel like oh, go ahead.
No, okay. No, like midway to the third quarter, I realized I was like, wait, this team doesn't have DeAndre Ayton or Kevin Durant playing right now. It was kind of like a realization. I'm like, we're playing a team without two of their best players. Yeah. And I feel like that wasn't mentioned or realized enough by me or like other fans tonight. But like,
and we are going to talk some DeAndre Ayton later because he was surely missed tonight. Believe that or not. As much as Suns Twitter and myself complains about him, he was sure missed tonight. But
the man who had to replace him was the one and only.
Your boy Chuck Lindell. So real quick, man, I'm just going over some notes that I took here. First quarter, really the first half, in my opinion, was both teams were trading baskets. Now, I kind of want to get an outsider's perspective on this. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, but I thought Monty's rotations were actually interesting tonight. And I bring this up because it's kind of a hot topic on Suns Twitter right now. And by that, I mean, like, early in the game, we saw like Campaign, Landry Shamet, TJ Warren, your boy Jock Lindell. But we also saw like a little bit of Darius Baisley for 2 minutes, Terrence Ross for a little bit, even though he was pretty inefficient tonight. Just real quick, you don't have to go too deep into it, but did you notice that at all?
I think I did. I think what I would say is maybe there's a depth commitment issue. Maybe
That's
I think
a good way to put
it. It seems like, like you said, from outsider's perspective, you have a lot of guys playing 20, 14, 12, 10 minutes. And I think maybe Monty's obviously you guys are down 2 of your best players. And, your bench obviously took a huge hit after giving up 2 of the best wing players in the entire league. So now I think Monty's still trying to adjust and find his guys that can step up. So that's why I think maybe your, new additions like Terrence Ross and TJ Warren, he's still kind of testing the waters and seeing who he can trust in certain situations. So guys like Darius Baisley that you brought in, like I think it's still like managing the rotations and getting it set for the playoffs. So when it comes down to it, who your guys are. And maybe we saw a little bit of that tonight, I think.
And that's why I kind of wanted to get like an outsider's perspective of it, because it has been a hot topic with the Suns, but I thought tonight was interesting. I actually like the rotations that he put out there tonight, whether or not like a Darius Baisley was productive or Jock Lindell was productive. I actually like it. I just wish we had a little more time. You know what I mean? Like I wish there was like another 20 games in the season, because then we could throw these rotations out there, even if it's at a loss.
But watching the whole game, being like seeing how much like Devin Booker's usage rate tonight, I would believe is over 65% or something.
Right.
So it's like seeing how much he needs the ball in his hands for your offense to be any sort of productive just shows, like, I had the thought, I was like, Kevin Durant is on this team.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he had someone else to defer to at some point. So that thought definitely struck me. I know you definitely have dreams about that.
That's kind of my worry, though, is I'm like, if KD and DeAndre Ayton aren't healthy, heck, if even just KD's not healthy, man, like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know how far we are going to go. But real quick, I was looking at the Lakers, and again, I can share the screen if you need me to share it, but I was looking at the Lakers stats tonight, and one thing I noticed, especially in the first half, was your bench really kind of set the tone for this game. Like, I know that Beasley and Gabriel finished with 6 points each, but they did a lot of that in the first half.
Yeah.
And their energy, I was DMing you about this, like their energy, their aggressiveness in the first half was really good. Dennis Schroeder kind of picked it up, I thought, especially in the second half, because he had 13 points. I thought that this was an all around, despite the bad officiating and my son's rant that's going to come later, I feel like this was kind of an all-around Lakers effort tonight. And again, we're kind of jumping all over the place with our conversation, but I mean, Austin Reeves, 39 minutes tonight, 25 points, 11 assists. That's got to stand out. I remember last time I had you on the show, man, that guy was dishing dimes like he was Jerry West or something like that.
He plays like he's in the 18th year of his career.
Exactly.
But no, like alluding to that bench point, fun statistic. Since the trade deadline, we have the leading scoring bench in the NBA.
I actually didn't know that, to be honest.
So we like Darvin has he's run 13-man rotations at times because we're so deep. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, isn't in our rotation anymore, and he's a highly productive player. Like
he's aggressive.
Lakers community has a lot of thoughts about who should be left out in the rotation because what we did at the trade deadline left it so there has to be an odd man out.
Exactly.
But no, we've been really. Our bench has been really productive, and it's literally been our bench outscores our starters like half of like a lot of the time. It's like that one game Anthony Davis had 6 points, Austin Reeves, Schroeder, and Rui all had like 20 each. So it's like when teams go out to double AD, like it happens every single night, we have the bench to make up for that.
Just real quick, just a quick side note. I know I'm going on like the other side of the street here. You guys have Davon Reed, who Devin Booker absolutely loves. He was a rookie for us once. Really nice guy. I actually met him a couple times too. Solid defender. The dude plays hard, and Devin Booker loves him. But that kind of goes back to my point, man. I actually didn't know that stat about your guys' bench. And you guys obviously had an incredible trade deadline. You guys pretty much traded nothing and got actual players. You know what I mean? And you guys got depth now and players that can play.
So much better than Russell.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And I have some thoughts on D'Lo, man. And I don't know if I shared this with you because I ended up tweeting it out. But I pretty much where I was going to go after the Austin Reeves thing was, as bad as the officiating was for the Phoenix Suns tonight, we can forget all that when it came to D'Lo, because he absolutely cooked us. I kept writing down notes. I was like, there were so many possessions where D'Lo would just drive in, and even if he didn't draw the foul, we had nothing. We had no answer for him.
It's because you guys didn't stop the ball at all,
exactly,
especially on fast breaks. Like with D'Lo on fast breaks kind of slows down a little bit, so he's going at medium speed. And when he does that, like tonight, no defender would commit. So D'Lo's like, all right, I'll just take it right to the basket and lay it up in the like.
Or even if it was just him popping a three, like just no one wanted to guard him. There was one possession where I think they overhelped on Austin Reeves and D'Lo was wide open for a three. I was just like I knew we were going to lose the game right then and there, man. He finished tonight with 34 minutes, 26 points, 9 for 13 shooting. Let me repeat that. 9 for 13 shooting, 5 for 7 from the free throw line, and he had 6 assists. Now he did have 4 turnovers, but still.
No,
that's a pretty damn good stat line.
It's honestly one of the best games we played all season, I'll be honest.
That's what I'm saying. It was a team effort tonight for the Lakers, man.
Yeah. And then we have like what really is just I've appreciated more since the trade deadline is guys like Vanderbilt and Troy. Not that Troy Brown was acquired at the deadline, but we have so many hustle wings.
Yeah,
I like to call them. Troy Brown, he's been hot as of late, but he's not the biggest offensive threat. Vanderbilt's not the biggest offensive threat, but they both have the exact same impact. And when you have a lot of offensive powered guards, guys like Troy Brown and Vanderbilt are so like necessary. And the fact that we have that is just like, I'm grateful for that as a fan, you know.
Vanderbilt's pesky too, man. He was a fan favorite that Suns fans wanted. And I think he would eventually, if he ever ends up on the Suns one day, I think he'd fit our system very well. But he's a great player, man. Despite
any system.
Yeah. And real quick on Troy Brown, the one thing that I noted was not only was he playing hard out there that I thought, but there was that one sequence where I believe Bismack blocked AD, but on that next possession, Troy Brown, I think, might have gotten the block, and then he pickpocketed Devin Booker and then took off down court and dunked it on him. That was, and I remember you were kind of hyping him up last time you were on the show, man. Like he just seems like he plays hard a lot, man. I mean, he only had 6 points and 6 boards tonight with 2 assists, but he just seems like he plays hard, man.
For a while, he's been missed. Like his 3-point percentage was god awful, but like as of late, like he's been hitting. Like he's the definition of a 3-and-D player. Like, and he's been hitting as of late. So
I can't believe I've gone 25 minutes, and obviously we're talking about the Lakers right now. We'll get to the Suns in a minute here, but I can't believe I've got 27 minutes without talking about Anthony Davis, who, you know, when he's healthy, he is a superstar in this league. He's absolutely dominant. And you know what, man? 27, 9, and 5 on 10 for 18 shooting. That's not bad, man. What did you see out of Anthony Davis tonight?
I want to compliment Darvin Ham, because what has happened the last like 4 games is we haven't made an effort to get AD the ball, or we haven't made an effort to make AD the
primary
of our offense.
Yeah.
So there was a perfect example in this game. He gets the ball around the top wing close to the 3-point line, and he ends up taking a okay mid-range shot, settling, as Mark Jackson called it.
He sort of did that a couple times tonight, but he got it going after a while.
He's been doing that a lot lately, so I'm glad that Darvin Ham said enough. Let's run some down screens to get him the ball in the elbow, where he is one of the best in the league from that point. And he's going on guys like Bismack Biyombo and Jock Landale. So to recognize that mismatch and to recognize who Anthony Davis is and can be, I was just happy that Darvin Ham started running a bunch of sets for him, because it's not like anything like uncharacteristic of AD to go drop 15 and a quarter. He does that all the time. Just about getting him the ball. So the fact that Darvin Ham set up those situations to get him the ball effectively, I was really happy about that, because you know what AD can do when he gets the ball down.
Yeah.
Like Yeah.
Real quick, thank you for bringing up that Anthony Davis had a huge. I believe him and Booker had 14 both in the third quarter, but there was one play, man, where he was. I think he was guarded. Might have been by your boy Jock Lindell. And I don't know what happened, but I think Campaign ran over to like double team him. And I don't know how he got that shot off, but he just faded away and drained it. And I'm not even joking here, man. He had one dunk in this game where I thought he was going to tear the rim down.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
He was really damn good tonight. And again, like what did he finish with? 27, 9, and 5. Like that's a great stat line. But we know AD can do a lot more than that. But that's an efficient, dominant stat line, and Darvin Ham and the rest of the Lakers coaching staff, they need to keep riding that until LeBron James gets back.
And that number will pass if you have Austin Reeves putting up 25 and 11, D'Angelo putting up 26, Vanderbilt and Schroeder putting 13 apiece. So
look,
then
man,
add LeBron.
Don't take this the wrong way, but like if D'Lo doesn't have the night he has, I mean, maybe this is a closer game. I'm just saying that's how good I thought D'Lo was tonight. Like he was the one that really stood out to me.
Honestly, he was taking what's given to him. Honestly, those layups you mentioned, those were just freebies.
Dude,
like
every time, dude. I swear, like there was maybe 3 or 4 possessions in a row where it was either a drive to the rim or a 3. I was like, we cannot stop D'Lo tonight, man.
I want to bring something up.
Go for it.
I'm seeing this chat, and the common denominator of this chat is people complaining about Chris Paul, complaining about his money. I want to hear. You've always been an avid Chris Paul supporter. I wanted to.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm actually, I was sort of going to talk about that tonight.
No defense. Chris Paul looks horrible. CP3 is slowing the Suns. 28 mil to miss 10 shots a game. Like these fans are going nuts. I just wanted to hear your perspective on that because I know you've always been an avid Chris Paul guy.
Thank you for bringing this up, Reliable. I actually really thank you for bringing this up. Okay, look. 30 minutes tonight he played, 18 points, and the 4 assists is pretty bad. That's bad. 8 for 17 shooting though. So what were we missing tonight? Kevin freaking Durant, right? What did Chris Paul do at times throughout this game? Made some shots, controlled the game a little bit. Even though the Suns weren't really in control, sort of controlled the game at times. Obviously, I want the assists to go up. Last game, I believe he had like 16 and 13 or something like that. He's had quiet games where his assist numbers are off the charts. And I've always said, I'm like, obviously when KD's on the court, we don't need any more offense. I'm like, if Chris Paul can just get us those 12 assists, control the game, be a coach on the court and on the bench and everything, I'm fine with that. And I understand Suns fans are complaining about the contract. Something that kind of goes overlooked is some of that's not actually guaranteed. Like I believe next season, 15 mil is guaranteed out of that 30 or 28 mil or whatever it is. Do I think the Suns need to trade Chris Paul and move on and get Kyrie? I don't know, man. Ask me that question this summer. Right now, Chris Paul is on this team. I don't know if we have Kevin Durant if it's not for Chris Paul. I'm serious. Like, think about it. Like, that's another reason. I mean, obviously, Katie probably came here for Book and all that, and we saw the disaster that we could spend a whole live show talking about the Brooklyn Nets and that disaster. But like, I'm just saying, Chris Paul helped change things around here. I don't know if we go to the NBA Finals without Chris Paul. Does he need to play better? Yes. Does he need to be that clutch Chris Paul and that takeover Chris Paul that we haven't really seen this year? Absolutely. But I'm going to keep defending Chris Paul until he puts up like a terrible stat line. You know what I mean? Because, 18 points on pretty efficient shooting. And again, look at last game and some of the other games he's had this season. The problem is, though, I think the Suns fans are upset about is he is starting to slow down. I can even admit that. He's looking slow.
From Chris Paul, the only thing that was like, damn, this is Chris Paul was these missed teardrops, these missed layups that maybe 2 years ago he would hit. Especially down
the stretch. That's what I'm saying, man. That takeover Chris Paul.
He uses that all-world control that he's just gifted with. He gets open, and now he starts missing these layups.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's been a super common theme throughout the year.
It has. Yeah, it really has.
But I mean, if that's not a sign of regression, then I don't know what is. But that was just an observation I made tonight about that.
No, he really is slowing down, man. And he's not getting those mid ranges and those floaters. And I think it's also like the pace he's playing at is just, it just seems to be a little bit slower. And I'm hoping Chris Paul's okay. And I mean, maybe he perks up a little bit when Katie comes back and all that. But I mean, I'm just saying 18. I feel like sometimes Chris Paul gets a little overlooked, man, because I just think Suns fans want him to be that like 2020 Chris Paul, if you will, or 2021 Chris Paul, prime Chris Paul. That's not who he is anymore, man. And really, I guess this can kind of segue into my little Suns rant here. And first off, you guys, we're already 32 minutes in. So go ahead, you guys, make sure to Hulk smash that like button. I'm live with one of the biggest Lakers fans that I know, Reliable Rants. He's been on this channel multiple times, and I do appreciate you being here, man. So let me just talk about the Suns real quick, and then we'll get like an outsider's perspective.
Yep.
So we've kind of already talked about this. Like, I feel like despite the bad officiating, the Suns did blow this game. We let D'Lo get whatever he wanted. I feel like the Sun, and I saw a comment earlier. I had the comment on the screen for a while, and I think the comment was from Chris, and he was talking about like bad body language, bad defense, and he's kind of right, man. Like, even though the Suns were putting up points in this game, there was, and I even DM'd you about this. I was like, there was just no rhythm, and the Suns just kept getting locked down, especially Devin Booker at times, despite having 14 in the third quarter and all that, and starting to wake up a little bit in the second half. There was just no consistency, I thought, throughout this game. And even though I kind of complimented Monty Williams' rotations and everything earlier, I feel like even the rotations weren't super consistent. I mean, Torrey Craig had 14 points tonight, 4 threes. That's actually kind of surprising. He's been playing really hard for us. But like, Chris Paul had 18, Booker had 33, but it took him a while to get that 33, even though it was a very efficient 33, 11 for 16, but he only had 1 3. Got to the free throw line 10 out of 12 times. But then like Landry Shamet, I thought Landry Shamet was actually pretty good in this game. And beyond that, like, even though I have a couple TJ Warren takeaways, he only had 6. And Jock Landale had 4 and 5. And Payne had 7. Yeah, exactly. Like, we need more
Jock
help.
And
look, man, this goes back to the DeAndre Ayton thing and Kevin Durant. As much as Suns Twitter and even myself likes to criticize him and break down every single DeAndre Ayton possession, this would have been a great DeAndre Ayton game, man. Even if DeAndre Ayton would have given us 18 and 10, I would have taken it, man. And look, I love Devin Booker, man, but he's got to get going. And he did get going in the second half. But he got locked down throughout most of this game. And I mean, 33 on 11 for 16 is an amazing efficiency. That's great. But
yeah,
he's got to be more, man. He's got to be better. And
I disagree. I think if you look at it from a game standpoint, like I said earlier, your entire offense is ran through him. You can't trust anybody else right now with the roster you're playing with to go get themselves a bucket. And our game plan, I'm sure every other team does this. Devin Booker, every time he comes below the 3-point line, he's getting doubled. Or if we're in a zone, we're pinching. So I personally, from a viewer standpoint, thought D-Book did everything he could tonight. I was
going to say he did have 5 assists as well, but he had 7 turnovers. Anyways, keep going.
And he's always been like that. He's always been a mistake proven time. But what I wanted to say is, I think when looking at Monty Williams, you got to look at how you got to mitigate or have a balance between how much is this Monty's fault, how much is this the hit you guys took with your depth, because Monty can manage who's on the floor, but at the end of the day, the back end of the roster took a huge hit. And I think there's not many people that any fan can trust right now on the back end of the roster, knowing that a lot of them are new. A lot of them are stepping into roles they haven't played in a while. Like, for instance, TJ Warren, Terrence Ross. They're proven players, but they haven't stepped into a role on a winning team yet in their careers. And they're at the latter stages of their careers. You think you guys are relying on people who you can't or haven't been proven to rely on yet at this stage in their career. So I think guys like Darius Baisley, guys like Jock Landale, guys like Ross and Warren, or are guys you need to learn to trust, and guys Monty needs to learn to trust. So it's yes, it's about the rotations, but I also think it's your team changed a lot. So especially when you're down, like I put in the chat, think about it as if you guys were missing Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I feel like we'd be looking at the situation a little bit different.
And that, real quick, if I can just cut you off, that's exactly why I said I wish we had like even 15 more games, because we could experiment with this roster and see what we have. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. I just sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, but no, that was pretty much the end of my point. I think things would look a lot different when you have KD and Ayton, because I think in the playoffs, you guys aren't running more than an 8-man rotation.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Real quick, I do want to point out some positives with the Phoenix Suns. Just real quick. These are just things that I noted, certain like plays that I saw. So I want to start with the bench. First off, Landry Shamet. I feel like I'm not giving him enough credit. I don't know if you've been following.
He was hitting.
First off, this was the second game back after missing like 25 or something like that. And even last game, he looked pretty good, I thought. 29 minutes tonight, 6 for 13. He had 3 threes. He had 15 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. And you know what, man? Sometimes it's weird with Landry Shamet, even though it like he does like get in foul trouble sometimes, but he just brings you that like energy. And he obviously spaced the floor because sometimes he can be a threat out there. And I thought he looked pretty good, man, especially his second game back. And that's why I go back to like Monty's rotations and building a rhythm throughout this game. Like there was a time where he was cooking out there, and that was when I kind of wish the Suns would have started pouncing and all that. And they didn't really do that, but I just kind of wanted to give Landry Shamet his flowers. He's obviously going to be a big piece going forward off of our bench. We're going to need him, especially when KD and DA get back.
Also, especially since Cameron Payne is proven to be unreliable as of late.
Speaking of campaign, 14 minutes, 3 for 7 shooting, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. There's
obviously a
surprising 2 blocks.
2 blocks.
Yeah, he had 2 blocks now. I'm not even bullshitting you.
That's weird.
I don't know, man. I don't really have much campaign.
So I don't think we need to overanalyze this. We could just look at this from a human standpoint.
Yeah.
Campaign was once a someone that Monty Williams loved, right? Someone that would play 30 minutes a night in the bubble.
He was a big part. Well, he was a big part of our bubble and finals run.
The finals run.
Yeah. He was a big part of both of those.
Someone that Monty trusts. And now that trust has dwindled, evidently, due to his production. And
he got benched in the playoffs last year.
And the minutes. So as much as Suns fans have a what's it called, like a heartfelt
a love fest.
Yeah, for campaign, it's evident that him and Monty Williams there's a discourse in terms of trust. And I think that's where I know Landry Shamet isn't a 1, but in the playoffs when rotations shorten, I can totally see Cameron Payne losing his minutes and Shamet's minutes increasing by his recent production.
Real quick, there was 2 things that I wanted to note, and this we don't have to spend too much time on this. TJ Warren, 20 minutes tonight, 6 points. He had 1 play where it looked like
with TJ Warren.
Well, he's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But when he's healthy, he can play. And I'll just say this because we kind of been talking about it tonight. He hasn't really gotten the run that he probably should have by now. The minutes with him have been a little inconsistent, but that's kind of why I mentioned him early and why I want to talk about him now, because 20 minutes tonight for him is huge, especially against a team like the Lakers and at this stretch of the season. But he had 6 points and 4 rebounds tonight. But I will say this, there was 1 play where he was it seemed like he was a little bit double teamed. He lost the ball and he somehow got it to go in. Like, I think TJ Warren just needs a little bit more run, but he also needs to be more consistent too, man. Because this is like, you saw what he did in the bubble. And even though the Suns used to be garbage back in the day, this is a guy that could average like 15 a game.
Remember the bubble year?
Yeah, like
50.
Exactly.
He averaged 50 in the bubble.
He can score, man. Like, I just think he needs a little bit more run, but at the same time, he needs to be consistent. He needs to do something with those minutes. And real quick, man, I don't know about you. Maybe I'm crazy here. I thought Bismack Biyombo actually did a damn good job on Anthony Davis, all things considered. Now, the numbers won't show that. I mean, he had 6 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. But just making things tough on Anthony Davis, contesting a shot.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he did good tonight, man.
I agree. I agree with that. I think Bismack Biyombo played to what Bismack Biyombo is. I think. Wait, what were you just saying?
I was just talking about TJ Warren needs
Oh,
more
TJ
of a
Warren,
run.
sorry.
And
Yeah, that's what I was
Bismack
gonna
needs, or Bismack did a great job.
I was going to say
all
something about TJ
things
Warren.
considered. Yeah.
So about TJ Warren, I think one thing I'm going to just say from someone who's maybe been on a very lower scale in TJ Warren's position, I would say, it's when there's uncertainty about your minutes, when you don't know how much trust, first of all, when you're coming back to an environment that you used to be very comfortable in and now you're in an uncertain spot, confidence, I think, is the main thing that we need to look at. Yeah. When your coach doesn't have full trust in you, or your spot isn't solidified, confidence is a big issue. You start overthinking things. And I think that's what we're seeing with TJ Warren. He's coming from a spot where, or in the past, he's been a key role on the Pacers and the Suns, and now he's starting to get his rhythm back. But when his minutes are inconsistent, I feel like it's hard to sustain consistent confidence. So I think if Monty starts playing him 20, 25 minutes a game and his minutes start increasing, I think TJ Warren will start playing better. I think he'll start finding his old self. I think he'll start finding more confidence within himself. And I think that's what would get TJ Warren out of his shell, I think.
Right.
That's what if I was the coach of the Suns, that's what I would do. I would increase his minutes and see what his production looks like then and instill confidence in it.
So real quick, you guys, we're about 43 minutes and I'm here with Reliable Rants, and we have done an excellent job of talking all things terrible officiating and just everything about this game so far. So what we're going to do, Reliable Rants, you can obviously cover it from a Lakers side. I'll cover it from the Suns side point of view. Do you have an MVP of the game or an honorable mention for the MVP of the game? What are you thinking, man, from the Lakers point of view? I'll give my Suns MVP.
I would give it to Austin Reeves, not from a biased perspective.
Your boy Austin Reeves.
Not from the 25 points, the 11 assists, I think.
Yeah, that does stand out.
Austin and D'Angelo Russell, I think Austin had the bigger impact while D'Lo played great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rant for too long.
Yeah.
But Austin Reeves plays like he's in his 18th year of his career. Do you know how many sexy assists he had tonight? The one to Jared Vanderbilt across, the one to Jared Vanderbilt at the end. He knows how to make the right decision. Like, he played point guard at Wichita State. Coming off of screens. It's like he stole Chris Paul's medicine or something. Coming off of screens, he knows how to make the right decision, and he's one of the best players in the league at drawing contact. So if defenses commit to him, he will make the right pass every single time. So it's just beautiful to see. It's honestly beautiful to see.
What did I say about that D'Lo play when they overhelped on Austin Reeves and he just kicked it out to D'Lo for three? I saw that a lot tonight too. And look, despite the bad officiating, I think Mark Jackson even pointed this out, that like he made Chris Paul foul him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was kind of trolling him on Twitter a little bit, I will say Austin Reeves, I'm not saying he's the next superstar. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star. He can play. I'll give him that. He plays hard. He gets to the rim. He just seems like and I mean this with all due respect, he seems like he's playing for his life out there. You know what I mean?
Why did you need to preface that with, I mean that with all due respect?
Because I know Lakers fans and they take everything so personally, and Suns and Lakers fans, besides me and you, we can't get along. You know what I mean?
But that's usually a compliment when you tell someone it looks like they're playing for their life out there. I'm
serious, man. I mean, he really seems like he's playing his ass off, and
absolutely.
I'll give him credit, man. And I feel like,
by the way, one little thing.
Yeah,
he's been coming off the bench after his performance, inserted to the starting lineup. So I just thought that it was the first starting lineup change we've made in a decent amount since the LeBron injury.
So we kind of talked about it earlier, just real quick. I think the MVP of the game, even though I was a little critical of him, maybe I was a little too harsh on him, Devin Booker. I mean, dude, 33 points on 11 for 16 shooting after a pretty slow first half. 6 boards, 5 assists to go along with that. But honorable mention, and again, we kind of already talked about it, Landry Shamet and Bismack Biyombo. I thought they all played great, man. Those are my MVPs of the game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man, we can actually talk about whatever you want. I mean, obviously, I kind of
Yeah, this guy
mentioned
Christopher Garcia is pissing me off.
do I need to mute him?
No, I need
Do
to
I need
make.
to block him?
I'm just sorry. Like, he's just pissing me off.
What was he saying?
He keeps saying like Austin Reeves will be a faded memory in 2 years. Like, man, like,
Hey, maybe that's your next video. You can talk about
yeah,
how Austin
we
Reeves.
could talk, man. We could talk.
But real quick, man, if you want, I mean, I can share the screen and we can, because I'm sure the standings are updated by now. I mean, we can dive into a standings talk. We can talk about if you have any questions for me, even if it's not Suns related, we can talk about that. I mean, the Sixers clinched the playoffs today, so I'm going to share the screen real quick and we can
Let's
kind
do
of
it.
go over the standings. If there's any teams that stand out to you, obviously it's a huge play in and playoff race right now, especially in the Western Conference. Let me scroll down. We'll start with the Western Conference first. I mean, look at this, man. It's at the point now, and I know you know this. It's at the point now where it's more about the losses than it is about the wins. Your Lakers, for now, are in the 10th spot. I mean, but look at the difference, man. The Mavericks,
And
the Thunder, the Wolves.
I was
Like,
at that Mavericks game the other night.
really?
Yeah,
How
and
was that?
it was. I just can't. I just don't want to talk about that.
But like, seriously, look at the numbers, man. Timberwolves 37 and 37. OKC Thunder 36-36. The Mavericks 36-37. Lakers 36-37. Like, it's insane. Even the Jazz could sneak in there. Even
Yeah, I
as
mean, if you're
terrible
looking
as
at
the Pelicans have been, they might be able to sneak in there, man.
when
I
was the
don't
last
think
time we saw a 10th seed be 2 games away from the 5 seed?
that's what I was gonna say, man. Like, you know
Ever.
me, I love NBA history, man. I don't recall like seeing this like in a long time where like what 13 teams could make the playoffs. Like, this is insane, man. This is like NBA history that we are witnessing, man.
Mhm.
Even the Suns, like, there's a lot of talk like the Suns may not make the playoffs or they might fall to the play-in tournament. Like, that's possible, but I'm like, as long as we don't fall further than the 6th seed, man. So, do you have any thoughts on the Western Conference as is right now? Like, do you have any hot takes or predictions? Like, what are you thinking, man?
I think this is really good for the NBA, honestly.
Thank
I feel
you.
like we haven't usually after the 10 seed, there's a cutoff, and teams are usually at 20 wins.
Yeah.
And below. Or not, I'll say like 30 wins and below. But now, all the way to
different game,
the
man.
13 seed,
Yeah.
we have competitors for playoff spots.
I zoomed in a little bit if you need to see
So,
it.
when was the last time we saw 13 seeds actually competing for 8?
Exactly.
I feel like it's been a while. I think that's really good for the NBA, and I think also that's just a testament to the ever growing talent in the league. And I think the NBA is so much more talented, and I really think that's just a big reason why we see all these the historic numbers being put up every single night, 40s, 50s, every literally every single night. We've never seen that in recent NBA history at this level, and I think that's just part of the fact that teams are a lot better than teams were 10 years ago. And I really do think that's just a reason why the NBA is so much more competitive. Because 1, the super team strategy is starting to fall apart. And 2, just there's so much
Brooklyn
more
Nets.
there's so much more overall talent in the NBA right now. So it's like I think it's good. And it's honestly a similar situation in the East if you look at the East.
Yeah.
So yeah, those
we'll touch on the East in a minute, but you've kind of referenced it a couple times tonight. Like, this is really good for the NBA. And you obviously know it's all about ratings. It's all about clicks. And part of me as a content creator agrees with that. I understand it. But, hey, look, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I was a little old school on this. When the play-in tournament, the pandemic and all that first started and play-in tournament, I was a little against it. I was like, I don't like this, man. But I've learned to love it. I mean, it is literally like a March Madness-esque, playoff. It's like the playoffs start early in a way. And it gives teams a chance too, even though sometimes it's unfair. Like, I think the Cavs last year got hosed, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Got hosed. But you get my point. And it's just fun, man. And I don't know how, like, there's this Twitter account called NBA Communications. They do a good job of like putting out the ratings for certain games. And the ratings are usually really good for the play-in tournament and all that. And again, man, like, that's what the NBA needs. They got to compete with all these great leagues like the NFL and all that stuff. So
yeah, I think at the end of the day, the play-in tournament, more people are happy than the people who are not.
Exactly.
Like if the season ended right now and I was a Timberwolves fan, I would be trying to abolish the play-in tournament.
Right.
I'd be like, we have a spot. Why are you trying to take it away from us?
Right.
But as a Lakers fan, I'm like, the play-in tournament might save our playoff hopes. And then for all teams that aren't in the all fans that aren't the 7th and 8th seed, we all love it, right? Like it's just competitive basketball. So I do agree. Like if a fan if the Timberwolves would be like, this is unfair, I would be like, yes, like it absolutely is. Like you earned your spot and now it's in jeopardy. But it's like the greater good loves it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, just real quick, man, we don't have to spend too much time. We can get to the Eastern Conference here in a second, but like, if you would have told me on March 23rd that the Oklahoma City Thunder would have 36, and I'm not trying to like isolate them or pick on them, but if you would have told me that they have 36 wins, I would have called you crazy. I mean, they've proven they can play. They play hard, and they've gotten 36 freaking wins, man. But like, it's crazy because the Suns only have 38 wins. It's literally, we are to a point where you got to focus on the losses now, not really the win column. It is insane. There's just so much talent in this league. And even though the Pelicans are a train wreck, even though they're 5-5 in their last 10, like they could even make the playoffs somehow. And I think, I don't know. No, I'm sorry. That's really all I wanted to say on the Western Conference.
And I think this is the first time in a while where there's like, if I say who would you take in the West to make the finals right now?
Oh, dude, I can't give you a solid answer. Exactly. Even if KD and DA are 100% healthy,
because it's usually a team in the first 3 seeds. But then you look at the Nuggets, you say, when have the Nuggets ever been a real threat to make the finals? Yeah. Yes, they've always been a really good regular season team, but what have they done to prove that they can, get to that level? Grizzlies, they're still young. Kings, some people call it an anomaly. Some people say, oh, it's a young team. And then the Suns, been there before, but I don't know if they're favorite.
All depends on our health.
Clippers, all depends on the health. Warriors, obviously, like I say, the majority of teams would say when the Warriors are healthy, they're favored, and obviously there's all evidence to back it up. But it's like, out of those 6 teams, was there one team where it was like definitive? Like no, and usually there is one of those. So I think that's cool, and I think
I mean, obviously, the bias side of me, wants to say, yeah, when KD's back and DeAndre Ayton's back, we're going to the finals. I just believe that if we're healthy, it's got to be finals or bust, championship or
absolutely.
bust.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset, since the moment we got Kevin Durant. But like the Warriors, despite their terrible road record, if they're clicking on all cylinders, they're hard to beat. And first off, real quick, the Paul George injury, we got the update today. 2 to 3 weeks, he'll be reevaluated. That was a scary injury.
Yeah, thank God it's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I hope he's okay.
I thought it was another deja vu for him.
Yeah, I know. The Clippers are such a wild card, though. Like, there's just I can't trust anybody, man. The Kings are a great story, and I love the light the beam stuff, and I'm really happy for them. But like, second round, I think, you know what I mean? Like, they're not. Who knows? But the West is just such a wild card. The entire Western Conference, like, it is nuts right now. So let's transition real quick to the Eastern Conference. I don't even know where to begin, man. I'll just say this. And it's maybe sounds a little cliche. I truly believe it's the Bucks, Celtics, Sixers. Maybe I'm a cliche, casual looking at that, but those are the 3 teams I trust. I mean, the Knicks have been playing pretty good. The Cavs are good.
I see a world where Cavs make the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's fair. I was on their bandwagon the past couple of years.
I see a world where the Cavs win 2 playoff series easily. I think
they're deep. I feel like
I love the way they're constructed. I've always been a fan of guard, center. Like I love that the way they play, and I love their backcourt. I'm just a big Cavs guy.
Yeah.
But
I'm right there with you, man.
Even excusing biases, obviously the Bucks and Celtics are the 2 teams to beat in the East. Right. And honestly, they might even be the 2 teams to beat in the entire league. Like, honestly, you could say the Bucks and the Celtics are the 2 best teams in the league. And you might not be wrong. But yeah, no, I think the Cavs, I love the Cavs. Yeah.
I will say, though, I'm a little biased here because our good friend Romp 2.0, but not just him. I mean, there's Philly Take with RB, DJ Eastwood.
For us.
I'm I don't know. I don't know how to say this. I respect a lot of Sixers content creators. So I'm a little biased here. I mean, the Sixers are 9-1 in their last 10. They won what, like 8 in a row or whatever, and they are playing very well. And if Joel Embiid stays healthy and keeps playing at this MVP level, and if they can get production from like a Tyrese Maxey, and if James Harden can play, the way he was playing at one point in this season, if they can get some help from their bench, they're going to be hard to stop. But the Knicks are really good too. Maybe Brooklyn causes some trouble. But beyond that, I don't trust the Heat. I don't trust the Hawks. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
I agree. I think if I had to take, what are we, Heat or Knicks? Who do we think has the better chances of going further in the playoffs? I think that's a tough question.
You know what? It might be recency bias. I'm picking the Knicks, man. But like at the same time, can you really count out the Heat? I feel like they're like that one team, because of their Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, Bam Adebayo. Yeah, exactly. It's like that would be a great first round series, even a
and if you
second
think
round
about
series.
it, they really haven't changed too much since they made the finals. They still have Coach Spo, one of the most accomplished coaches in the history of the league. They still have Jimmy Butler. They have a better Tyler Hero. They have Kyle Lowry.
And Jimmy Butler when he's
better
in
Bam
takeover mode. Yeah.
They
could low key be a sneaky playoff team, man.
And not count out the Heat. Although last year they did disappoint.
Yeah.
So we have to look at that.
And to be honest, I was kind of surprised they didn't make any moves at the deadline, to my knowledge. I was kind of surprised by that, but like I didn't think they were going to blow it up necessarily. But they got 40 wins. I mean, that's got to say something. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Yeah, got to say something.
Putting it together.
Yeah, could low key be a sneaky playoff team, man.
And even the East, like scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they have like, so yeah. I mean, you go.
Oh, sorry, I'll scroll down a little bit more. My bad.
You go. No, you're good. You're good. No, I was just gonna say the depth is there too. I mean, Wizards are only, let's see, 4 games out of the playoffs.
Your boy Kyle Kuzma.
They're the 12th seed, and the Magic. Like usually teams down there are in the 20s.
They have 30 freaking wins, dude, and they beat us. The Magic beat us, I believe.
It's just it's not a one conference thing. Like it is. Yeah.
Remember back in the day when it was like the Western Conference dominated and the Eastern Conference was like a toss up, dude. It's not that anymore. I mean, again, like if we're talking about the Miami Heat potentially being a playoff like sleeper, like damn, dude, the East is almost as loaded as the Western Conference. I think that's fair to say.
Better than the Western Conference, in my opinion. I mean, I guess in terms of name value, sure, you take
yeah.
Like if you said, hey, the Eastern Conference is going to play the Western Conference in a 7-game series, I would probably I'd put my money on the Eastern Conference.
And seriously, man, I mean, just think about it. Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs. That is insane. Like those 4 teams are dominant, man. They're dominant for a reason. I honestly believe that we have had one of the craziest seasons, like a roller coaster season, and we potentially, I don't want to jinx anything, we potentially could have one of the craziest playoffs like ever. And I truly believe that. So Reliable, we've reached the 1 hour mark, man. If you got any questions for me, go for it. If the chat has any good questions or topics, if not, we can call it. Whatever you want to talk about, man. I think we've done an excellent job of breaking down the game and talking about the standings and anything you want to talk about, man.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a lot. I'm trying to scour first.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the chat, guys. If you got any questions for us, let us know. Even if it's not Suns or Lakers related, go ahead and let us know. If not, we'll probably just call it. I think this has been an excellent show.
Y'all are picky. Y'all are hating on Josh Okogie as well. I feel like there's not much y'all can do right for Suns fans to be.
Oh yeah. No, Suns fans are never happy. Honestly, even after the KD
fans
trade,
are like that. Oh, Lakers fans are like that too.
Even after the KD trade, bro, Suns fans still weren't happy. And look, I love Mikal Bridges. I love Cam Johnson. I've talked about this before, but Suns fans are still super upset over losing them. I'm like, dude, we weren't going to be able to keep all those guys and get KD, man.
And the recency bias of not having KD and just looking at how like bad your team is without Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges is like,
I miss them.
But
part of me misses them. But
we have Kevin Durant. We have Kevin Durant. We have Kevin Durant. You know, like I feel like in times like this where Kevin Durant is out for the dumbest thing, like you just got to be like, we have Kevin Durant. We have Kevin Durant. You know.
Real quick, before we end the show, man, I actually did want to ask you this because I remember you DM me the second we got KD. I want to ask you, where were you when the KD trade went down? Like what? Like where were you, man?
I remember I got out of the shower. My TV right here was on. I look over. It's like a Scott Van Pelt like headline.
Yeah.
It was like breaking news, Kevin Durant, and then it said Suns. And I was like, what? Because this was right after all these crazy trades just happened.
Yep.
And this was kind of like the icing on. I was just like, that wasn't. And the first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, Suns Geek, man. He's probably going nuts right now.
Dude, I was shaking. And I mean, I was shaking, man. I mean, I had to like make a stupid, terrible, quick thumbnail.
Yeah, wait, where were you? Where were you?
Well, first off, I was awake. Romp thought I was asleep. He texted me and thought I was asleep. I was just chilling, man, because our new owner had his press conference that same day. So I had done a live show. I was just following the trade deadline and all that, and all of a sudden my phone just blows up. I was just sitting at my computer and I just started shaking. It was nuts, man. It was an unbelievable feeling. You know what I mean? I can't even process it.
You would say at the time more jubilation than disappointment.
Yeah.
Because from an outsider, I was like, honestly, my first thoughts were, damn, y'all gave up too much. And now as I process it, I've started to, be like, I get it and maybe not. But part of me still thinks that, man. I mean, what was it, 4 or 3 first?
I think it was 3, 4. I think it was 4 first and 1 pick swap. So pretty much.
And then
5 first-round picks.
Cam and Mikal, man. I mean, like, I've experienced it firsthand. Teams that are competing are going to go get their guy, So it's like you got to respect it. But like, man, like y'all gave up like the Nets. People who are saying the Nets like could have gotten more are just dumb, in my opinion. The Nets got an amazing package, and you would know that as a Suns fan. I mean, like, yeah,
Mikal's been cooking for them, man, and I'm legit happy for him, man.
I'm rooting for you guys.
Thank you.
If the Lakers get eliminated and the Suns are still in it, I'm gonna root for the Suns.
I will say this though, just real quick, and I'm gonna kind of, how do I word this? I'm gonna kind of steal this from a Suns legend, Flex from Jersey, who, by the way, was one of the first people, believe this or not, Reliable. He knew about this KD stuff way in advance. I'm serious, like before Shams, before Woj.
Like hours or seconds?
No, we're talking like months. I'm not even bullshitting you. Like I covered it all on my channel. Like he's known about this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, ever since we got KD, he's done a great job of reminding Suns fans that sure, I know KD's got the injury history and the ankle injury was a freak accident. It really was. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is he's done an excellent job of reminding Suns fans that we got Kevin Durant for 3 more years after this.
Yeah.
Not to mention what happens this season. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Kevin Durant's a 1-year rental, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's here, man.
The feeling of reassurance.
And also too is like one thing I've noticed about KD, he just seems like he's super like humble and like wants to get better every single game. Like I've gotten that vibe off him since the moment he landed in Phoenix. That's always been his mindset and how he's approached the game. But I'm like, if that's the Kevin Durant we're going to get here, man, he's going to push all that drama, all that media attention away. He's just going to want to play basketball, man. So like, I know Suns fans love Mikal Bridges and Cam. I get it. I understand they're concerned about the injuries. I get it. But dude, this is Kevin freaking Durant, man. That's all I got to say. It's Kevin freaking Durant.
And I bet you that's what Monty Williams and whoever the fuck your guys' GM name is.
James Jones.
Or no, I meant this. Sorry. Obviously James Jones. I meant the new owner.
Our new owner. Who, by the way, he's gone. I've kind of been meaning to talk about this, but he pretty much said like he wanted Kevin Durant. And
I was going to say that. Like, obviously James Jones has been there well. But I saw headlines right after. It's like this dude comes in, boom, literally,
and
boom.
The way that Matt Ishbia put it, that's our owner, Matt Ishbia. He pretty much said like it wasn't a risk. That's the way he's pretty much talked about it. He was like, it was like an investment, and we're going all in, and what's done is done, pretty much. Like he knew KD was the guy. But what I like about how Matt Ishbia has gone about it, and obviously this could change, but he's pretty much like James Jones is in control. Monty Williams is going to play who he wants to play. He's like, I'm just a fan at the end of the day. I fucking love that about an owner. Look at Steve Ballmer, dude. You know what I mean? He pays the money and just sits on the fucking first row seats and just goes crazy.
He does, but Steve Ballmer has a pretty. He okays a lot of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I'm sure Matt Ishbia does too. But
and some owners don't. But there's a lot of some owners own a team to own a team. Some owners are super dedicated to their team, like you see with
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, of course.
Yeah.
And even like Jeannie Buss, who's not, I really dislike her as an owner, but she's a big part of the organization, you know? So then you can argue how much would Michael Jordan care about signing a free agent for the Hornets, you know?
I'm sure that we could spend a good chunk talking about Michael Jordan's era with the Hornets, but real quick, shout out to my guy, John, over at the Suns Jam Session podcast, friends of the channel. They do an amazing show over there. Go subscribe right now if you're not already subscribed. He's kind of dropping some truth bombs here, Reliable. The fringe pieces of this roster are so suspect. That's the problem with the 2022-23 Suns.
I said that so much today.
And then he follows that up with, no one is stepping up without KD. No one. When KD comes back, is this a championship roster? I don't know, man. That's why I said, I'm like, the biased part of me wants to say, yeah, we got KD. We're going to the finals. I just think we have to reach the finals, man. Championship or it's finals or bust, championship or bust. I got to step up.
I'll unbiasedly say I think you guys are a championship roster with Kevin Durant. I think it really hurts that the second the playoffs happen might be the first game KD comes back. I think that really,
which might be a blessing in disguise, keeping all things optimistic here. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think that Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre, and can win you a championship. I believe that.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get out of here, Reliable. $5 super chat from Gambino, and I think my guy Iverson Vlogs had a $1.99 super chat earlier. I appreciate that.
We got so many OGs still in here. We got Starbucks, Iverson.
Starbucks is a legend, man.
There's so many guys who are
there's so many great people in here, man. And I truly appreciate everybody's support. Shout out to my guy DJ Ocho as well. He's been on the channel a few times. The refs messed up the Mavs. They're gonna have to replay that. Oh God, I didn't actually see what happened, but I saw Mark Cuban was all pissed off. Did you even see that?
I saw exactly what happened.
Before we get out of here, what are your final thoughts on that? Yeah, go ahead and explain it, man.
So basically, the ball went out of bounds, right? The ref ruled it Mavs ball, and then a timeout was called. So as the players were walking to their bench,
I noticed that.
Switches it the other way, and the players don't notice it. Or
didn't like Kevon Looney have like a layup or something?
Exactly. So they don't notice it. They don't see it. The Warriors are told, hey, it's our ball. Okay. The Mavs are still under the impression it's our ball because they just told us it's our goddamn ball.
What is this? Pick up basketball at the park?
So the Warriors are lining up on their side of the court. The Mavs are like, it's our ball. He just told us it's our ball. The ref checks in the ball. Kevon Looney gets a dunk with not one blue jersey in sight. So not often do you see miscommunication issues from the refs, but that was bad. It was bad. Yeah.
And what did you say early on at this show, man? That the NBA has an officiating issue, problem, however you want to word it. I think that sums up tonight in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
So I think we've done everything. I think we said everything we needed to say. Thank you, everybody, for your support tonight. I truly appreciate it. Reliable Rants. Again, I know that you're slowly but surely making your, content creation comeback. I know you're not on Twitter, and probably for a good reason, but you want to let the people know where to find you. Tell them what you got going on, man.
Yeah. I mean, just Reliable Rants on YouTube. If you subscribe now, I will make sure to redo the favor. Because I am going to start uploading. I will
go
do that. I was kind of waiting for the time where I felt like I wanted to not force it, and I'm feeling like that now. So
good, man.
I'm excited, man. Videos like Suns Geek makes just for more generally in the NBA.
Well, again, man, for the OGs that know, you've been on this channel plenty of times. We've collaborated plenty of times. And I'm
Years, yeah.
excited for you, man. I hope that you come back strong anytime you want to be on the channel, man, even if it's not a Suns Lakers game, especially during the playoffs, man. If you want to hop on here for a little bit.
I know sometimes you need some mental support.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you go through it.
I need to be able to breathe for a few minutes and process my thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you being here, man. I hope to have you on soon. I think we play you actually like April 2nd or something.
Yeah.
So we might have to do this again soon, man.
Hey, let's do it.
But again, you guys, thank you all for your support. Thank you for everybody who donated a super chat tonight. I thought this was an excellent show. Tough loss. Suns got to win every game from here on out, and that's an understatement. So Reliable, we will see you definitely very soon. Everybody crush that like button. If you're watching later, crush the like button. Check out all the social media links down below. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff. And I call it TikTok. Yeah. Follow me on all that, y'all. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love you guys. God bless. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys next time. Let me find my little outro. I gotta find it here. Actually, it's different. I sort of updated it a little bit. You could probably say like Steven Spielberg directed this. That's how great of an outro it is. But on that note, I'm out of here, you guys. God bless. Peace out, and go Suns.